Here's my breakdown and opinions on everything we learned from the dev vlog for Season 3. First up, in case you weren't following, Phoenix is going to be the new character in Season 3. She's a ranged duelist that has a floating fiery version of herself that kind of hangs out nearby her. We haven't really seen how these abilities work yet, and we're going to be checking out her preview as soon as that drops, but it sounds like she does a lot of damage and has a unique ability to destroy all enemy summons on the map. I assume that's things like spider nests with her ultimate. There's going to be a new map called Celestial Husk, but we're not really sure any of the details about it. We don't know what type it is. I assume it's going to be a convergence map because we haven't had one of those in a while. This whole season is going to be about Null and trying to stop his emergence from Clintar. We're going to be getting a whole set of new skins, buffs, nerfs, team-ups, and we're going to talk about all of that later in the video. We also got confirmation that Blade is going to be the Season 3.5 character, so we're going to have to wait a month before he comes out. But seasons are a lot shorter now, a full season being 2 months, and each 0.5 season coming in halfway through. There's going to be a lot of new characters and a lot of constant changes, which should keep the game pretty fresh. They have confirmed that the Battle Pass will not change the amount of skins that it has or its cost. So it's still going to be the same monetary value and you're still going to get 10 skins. But they're boosting how much chrono tokens you get per activity, so you will still be able to fully unlock the Battle Pass in the 2 months that you're given. To make it easier to get your chrono tokens, dailies are gone. Weeklies are going to be retained over time, and as you complete each set of weeklies, the next set of weeks is going to unlock as that week comes forward, but you're not going to lose out on options that you missed in the past. Finally, there's season-wide quests that you have to complete to be able to get a huge chunk of chrono tokens. There's going to be some visual changes going on to things like viewing cinematics, having your little chapters in your comic books, and things like that more easily available and less clicks required to get through everything. Just some user experience tweaks. University and college students are going to be able to get free unlocks for skins over the season, which is going to be a nice way to reward people that are going and getting their further education. You're going to need to submit your proof of education to them to get that unlocked on your account. There's a new Discord SDK integration, so you're going to be able to chat with your Discord friends in Marvel Rivals, and you're going to be able to chat with your Marvel Rivals friends list when you're not logged into Marvel Rivals through the Discord app. If you're running into the NVIDIA graphics card issue that was causing your game to crash or severe stuttering, you can now upgrade to the latest version of NVIDIA driver, and that should resolve a lot of your problems. They've been paying a lot of attention to what team compositions were working really well in these tournaments and which ones were overly impressive, and they're looking to make changes to make sure the game feels fresh and not as stuck in a stale meta. So we should see some significant changes to the meta that have a little people frustrated, and I think there's generally good changes overall. We got a little bit of news of the primary buffs and nerfs that are coming for Season 3, but we're going to get more details in the patch notes, so keep an eye out for that video a little bit later. But let's talk about what we know. For the buffs, both the Thing and Venom are getting some buffs to up that dive and engage style variety in tanks, and this is going to be great. I think Venom and Thing are both characters that give a lot of good play to the game. They're interesting to interact with and fun to play. What we do know for the Thing is that he's getting a brand new ability, which he can activate to leap to an enemy target. While he's leaping to the target, he can also queue up his stone haymaker. So while he flies to the target, he can unleash a powerful punch. They said this also allows him to knock flyers out of the sky. This is going to allow Thing to be an anti-fly style tank, which I think is really, really good. Being able to charge into the enemy team and then leap up and punch a flyer out of the sky is going to feel so good, and a flying pile of rocks is hilarious. We're getting a primary attack buff for Namor, so he's going to be dealing a little bit more damage with his actual attacks instead of relying so much on his squids for all of his damage. And they're saying there's a buff to Scarlet Witch's ultimate. I assume a little bit more shield or a little bit faster movement speed, something to make it so that she's easier to get the ultimate off and she doesn't get eliminated so easily. It could even be cool to give her some CC immunity while she's casting it so that there aren't so many counters to her, where right now it is really, really easy to stop her from using her ultimate. I'd rather it be something that you have to block, use shields, and things like that as counters rather than all of the possible CC in the game, plus shields, plus just getting out of line of sight. It is a little bit frustrating to play her. They're giving a buff to Mantis, increasing her potential with her ultimate as well as her base damage. Mantis really needs this. She's been falling off a lot lately, and it's been difficult for them to buff her because of how strong the Revive team-up has been, and they're doing some changes to that as well. They're saying they're raising Invisible Woman's healing output, which I think is nuts because Invisible Woman is super strong right now. She does have slightly lower healing numbers than like Cloak and Dagger or Luna can push out, but the amount of extra control that she has with her manipulation over the battlefield, I think this is going to skyrocket her to one of the best healers. Now, as for the nerfs that are coming to characters in Season 3, Emma Frost is getting another nerf. This makes sense. She's really oppressive, and she's eliminated a lot of play that can be done with the diver-style characters and a lot of the tanks, and I think she needs this a lot. Iron Man's getting his poke nerfed. They buffed it recently, and I didn't think that that was necessary, and he became super oppressive, and he's been really annoying all season long. One of the highest banned characters, I think. So nerfing his poke down and making him forced to get in and use his Unibeam more often, I think is a good point for Iron Man to be. Punisher's culling turret is seeing a nerf, and possibly the rate at which he can gain his ultimate charge is also going to get a reduction, making him less oppressive. Mr. Fantastic's survivability is taking a hit, and again, this is a really good one. Mr. Fantastic has become such a nightmare to deal with when he's played at his most effectiveness, and I think he's just a little bit too tanky for how much damage he can actually produce when played well. A lot of players aren't playing him very well, and this is going to be a hit to him in the lower ranks, I think, but the higher ranks, it's really getting obnoxious dealing with him. Said we're getting a nerf to the team up for Adam Warlock, Star-Lord, and Mantis. I assume this is just going to be increased cooldown on how often you can use it. There's not really anything else you can nerf with it, so that's my only thought there. And we're seeing a nerf to Loki's ultimate ability recharge rate, so he can't get his ult off as fast. This is really smart. Because he can copy anybody else's ultimate, he was able to get some of the strongest ultimates in the game so early because it's really easy for him to build ult charge. And finally, what I think they're implying here is that the damage rate of Ultron is going to be going down a little bit so that he has to focus more on keeping his allies alive and a little bit less on just being an absolute oppressive poke-style character. I assume this might be adding a little bit more damage fall off to his attack because right now it has insane range for how much damage it does. That's what we know about the buffs and nerfs. I assume we're going to get the patch notes either tonight or Thursday night, and we're going to see what the actual changes are going to be and drive into that a little bit deeper. For the team-up changes coming in Season 3, we have first Primal Flame, which is going to be Phoenix and Wolverine. When he leaps, he's going to begin radiating out fire energy, which will burn nearby enemies. They said it's also going to increase the damage he deals with his claws while in this state. Extra burning for Wolverine is a huge potential for him to take out targets a lot faster and just make him even more of a threat on the field. Human Torch and Spidey are getting a buff where Spidey gets a new Burning Tracer ability. He can shoot out a flaming web that when it hits targets, puts a debuff on them that makes them tick for damage over time. Then if he follows that up with a Get Over Here, he'll slam into the target and make them erupt in flame damage. This will greatly improve Spidey's capabilities of getting that one-shot combo. And they said the Spider Tracer stacks with his regular Tracer. So the combo is going to have to be that you get the Flaming Tracer as well as the regular Tracer on the target, then pull yourself in and do an uppercut, and that'll probably be a one-shot combo, which is going to be disgusting. But he has to land both abilities and gives you a little bit more time and warning that it's coming, so you might have time to be able to activate your defensives. Because of those, we're getting rid of Human Torch and Storm, and we're losing Spider-Man and Squirrel Girl, which has never been too impactful. Then, Hela is being added to the Venom and Jeff team-up symbiote shenanigans. This is going to make it so when she shoots out her stun orb, it's also going to put tendrils onto targets that slows them down after they get dragged into the center. This is going to make it even easier for her to land those headshots. Then Squirrel Girl is being added to Stark Protocol. It lets her fire out a squirrel-mounted gauntlet, which will fly towards the target and detonate on impact. Just a guaranteed hit move option for Squirrel Girl is pretty nice. Her slow projectiles, it can be sometimes tricky to make sure she gets the kill secure on a target, and this is going to help her be able to take those targets out. I'm pretty stoked for these team-up changes. The Hela one is going to be pretty nuts and pretty on point for this season, and I think that Wolverine is going to become such a problem with this flaming buff. I'm really worried about that because already I have a difficulty with Wolverine players often snatching away tanks, and this is just going to make him melt them even faster. Let me know what you think about these upcoming team-up changes. We got even more Season 3 skin previews in the dev vlog today, so we got a little bit more details about the Battle Pass. We can see here there is going to be a Phoenix-style Emma Frost skin, which looks amazing. I absolutely love it. Then again, we get another view of that Jeff. Then there's a Symbiote Rocket and a Symbiote Squirrel Girl. These are all going to be in the Battle Pass, and now I'm guessing that maybe the Hela skin's not going to be part of the Battle Pass? I don't know. We're going to have to see what unlocks when this patch drops. There was also a hint of a Symbiote Storm skin that's going to be available possibly for free for all players from some kind of event. Along with skin changes, we're getting some optional visual effect bonuses that you can get with a new currency. These visual effects are going to be for legendary skins to have extra additions to their visual abilities for you only. Your opponents aren't going to see them, but you're going to get a little bit more flair out of your characters. Other new cosmetics are going to be these little attachables. Certain characters are going to be able to unlock attachables, like this little Deadpool clinging onto Jeff's fin, or like a little belt clip-on Venom for Psylocke. These are fun little things just to have dangling off your character for a little bit more style. And we're getting even more of those chromas. If you want your nice skins in a different color set, they're giving us a little bit more variety for those. I don't really love chromas. I think they're a little bit expensive for what you get out of it, but I guess they're pretty even to a rare skin, making a epic or legendary skin a slightly different color. As well, you're going to be able to mix and match your MVP animations with your skins. So if you want to use a different MVP animation that you own that isn't the one associated with the skin that you're currently using, you can have that come up and be an option. Also, depending on which skin you currently have selected, your main screen is going to change and have a cool background based off of whichever skin you chose. A couple of visual tweaks and just things to make the game feel a little bit smoother and more customizable by you.